So this week I wanted to make our lunches a little bit more enjoyable, more inspired, and so I'm gonna be making just a few healthy and delicious, easy lunch recipes to have this winter. The first meal I am making today is kind of a spin on stuffed pepper soup, but instead of using fresh bell peppers, I'm using roasted bell peppers, and instead of rice, I'm adding lots and lots of kale to make sure it's nutrient dense. So I started by soaking dinosaur kale in some water with a splash of apple cider vinegar to make sure it's really clean first, and I made my veggie stock in the Instant Pot just like I did in my last video, so I'll put a card up here if you haven't seen how I do it. It's really easy to make and very cost effective. Next, I took a couple pounds of grass-fed ground beef and added that into my big stock pot along with some garlic powder, Italian seasoning, salt, and broke that up with my wooden spoon, and make sure that that is browned before you start adding the next ingredients. Next, I'm destimming the kale. So kale is rich in sulfur, which you need to form collagen, and it's actually one of my favorite things to add to soups, so you'll see me using it a lot. I especially love the texture of dinosaur kale. It's my favorite, and that's what I'm using here today. I love making just a big pot of soup like this for the winter time because you can just make a whole bunch and put it in the fridge, and it'll just get better over the next few days. And you can also pair it with a salad. It's a great way to sneak in plenty of vegetables, and I like to eat for energy, so making sure my meals are full of different vegetables and healthy fats like grass-fed ground beef or grass-fed butter is just a must for me because it keeps you full and satisfied, and it gives you all the minerals you need so that you're able to feel your best. So once all of my ground beef is nice and browned, I like to add in my diced onion in with my chopped kale to the pot, and I let that cook down and get a little color on it, and then I'll add the garlic right at the end, that way it doesn't get burned. I like to cook with lots and lots of garlic. If a recipe calls for garlic, I add at least 3 times as much as it calls for. So here I'm adding, I think, about 5 garlic cloves. I could have done even more. I really like to use garlic almost like onion in the quantity because I love the taste of it. It's just so good for you too. So the easiest way to crush up your garlic is to take the back of your knife and lay it flat and then give it a good pound with your fist, and the shell will just the skin will just kind of pop off. Next, I'm adding in a big jar of crushed tomatoes along with the homemade vegetable stock that I made in the Instant Pot literally at 10 o'clock last night before bed. I jumped out of bed and realized I needed to make stock so that I could make soup tomorrow, so I jumped out of bed and broke up celery and carrots with my hands and just threw them in the pot and covered them with water. It's literally that easy, and so I'm just putting that in, and I'm squeezing in a few tablespoons of tomato paste because it's such a delicious richness that you really can't get from anything other than a deep, rich tomato paste. So since bell peppers are not in season, I decided to use jarred roasted red peppers because they're packed like 24 hours right after they're picked, so they're a lot fresher than what you can buy at the store right now. And so I love to use the freshest ingredients possible. But if you have bell peppers or frozen, maybe from your garden or the farmer's market from this past year, or even if you canned your own roasted red peppers, that's something I'd really like to try doing. But you could use that for this soup, and it's so good. It's just such a great depth of flavor, and it's a little unexpected, and I just love it. And then I just finished it with a little bit of pepper, and this soup is the perfect winter warmer. So good. So the next thing I'm making is a quick protein to have with lunches, and these are just chicken burgers, although they kind of look like chicken meatballs. And I make them by air frying them. They're great if you want to meal prep. I love doing that. And I'm using ground chicken from Force of Nature, and they make amazing meat blends with liver and heart, which are incredible for you, and you can't even taste it, so it's kind of genius. They have chicken, beef, venison, bison. It's all pasture raised or grass fed, and it's like heirloom, regenerative, slow growth. It's all the things that are important, so it's really cool. So comment if you've ever seen Force of Nature in your grocery store because it's new to me, and I'm curious to know if you've seen or tried it or how you like it. And if you haven't tried it, I highly recommend trying to find them near you. I love this product. So these are really easy to make. I do an egg plus a really small one that I had from one of my mom's tiny mini chickens. They lay the tiniest little eggs. So I did that along with oregano, garlic powder, some salt and pepper, and then I'm adding a small shallot, but you could use any onion. Just make sure you chop it small. And then I squeeze in lemon juice, and it makes it taste kind of like a Greek burger. So good. And I need to make them again to make tzatziki to go with them because I think it would be a really good combination. And then I just scoop them with a measuring cup. I find this is the easiest way because it's kind of like a loose meatball kind of texture. And I tried to make this look pretty, but there's really no way you can make ground meat that's raw look pretty. Anyway, so I just add those into the air fryer for about 15 minutes, and I like to have one or two with a sweet potato or top a salad with one of them, and it's the perfect winter lunch. Next, we're making a sweet potato and lentil salad. So I just totally made this up, but it was really good. This is great if you're meat-free or dairy-free. We're Orthodox Christians, so we actually fast from meat and dairy 2 times per week. So let me know if you'd like to see more plant-based recipes because I would love to share more of those. They're super healthy and they're also more frugal than meals with meat. So if that's something that would be helpful to you, just let me know. So to cube them, I just like to start by cutting off the ends, and then I'll slice the whole sweet potato in half, and then I'll cut each half in half lengthwise, and then I'll stack them up together and then slice them 2 more times, and then turn the opposite way and cut them into little cubes. So I hope that made sense if you're wondering how to get those little cubes like at the grocery store, that you'll always see like the butternut squash or the sweet potatoes that they have pre-chopped. It's super easy to do it yourself, so don't be intimidated. Next, I just took some of my avocado oil and I spray my sweet potatoes, and then I season them with the same old. I love to do this combination of just garlic powder, sweet paprika, Celtic Sea Salt, of course, and pepper. And now we're going to be making the salad dressing for the sweet potato and lentil salad. So I like to start out by adding in good quality olive oil, some white wine vinegar, a scoop of whole grain mustard, Celtic Sea Salt, pepper, and it's as simple as that. And next, I'm taking a red onion and I'm chopping the ends off, and then I'm just gonna chop this really, really fine. And another option would be to use a zester or a microplane and get that onion really fine so that you're not getting huge chunks of it. And then add that into the dressing. And if you have a few minutes before your sweet potatoes are done, you can let that marinate for a few minutes. It just kind of helps to break down the onion a bit and soften the flavor. And sweet potatoes are at the peak of freshness right now, and I have eaten pounds and pounds of them lately. I told my kids the other day that I'm gonna turn orange. So anyway, make sure you get your hands on some right now because at least where I am, they are so sweet. So once your sweet potatoes are done, just let them cool slightly on the baking sheet, and then you can just add that in along with pre-cooked and rinsed lentils. We're keeping it super simple here. And I just toss it all together in the salad dressing we made and pop it in the fridge, and you could eat it cold or warm. So good. I hope you guys enjoyed cooking these healthy lunches with me today and that they inspire you to cook something healthy for yourself this week for lunch. I will have a new video coming for you guys next week, but until then you can check out the other videos on my winter cooking playlist, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.